The Cavaliers are off to an undefeated start. What's changed with this team? Why is the team so good? They're 8-0.
Playing 2 weeks.
Where's
Boston,
that?
I don't know, actually. It's like November 14th or some shit.
Is it in Boston?
You know what's weird? They're doing this without attempting the most threes in the NBA. They're 18th in three-point attempts, but they're second in three-point percentage.
It's in Boston.
They've been
We'll lose that.
playing game.
the front
We're not
court.
playing tournament.
We'll lose that one.
The front court has been unbelievable. Jared Allen's been amazing, but Evan Mobley's been taking it to a whole other level. We're seeing him be aggressive on the offensive side while also being one of the best defenders in the world. Garland's been back to Garland that we saw his first few years in the league, where now he's being aggressive and he's trusting himself. Donovan Mitchell has not been the dominant Donovan Mitchell that we saw last season. He's playing well, of course, but at the same time, he's trusting the guys around him. And we're seeing this team, the defense will always be number one, and one of the main reasons why this team will have so much success. But Garland, when he is on, and I've said this since Donovan Mitchell joined the Cleveland Cavaliers, he needs Garland to be his running mate night in, night out. Because when he's on, we're talking about one of the best backcourts in basketball. It's that simple. And Mobley giving you this much offensively, now you have Allen, who you know is going to be an efficient paint scorer, rim scorer, whatever, close to the basket. Obviously, you know that he's going to be one of the more reliable lob threats as well. He's going to give you amazing defense. He's going to be a great rim protector. Mobley now giving you a little bit of spacing while on top of it being efficient, being aggressive, attacking downhill. That's obviously giving you a boost. And you just need these bench wings where we haven't even seen Strus yet, but you know, give some credit also Ty Jerome. What he's been able to do in the pick and roll off the bench. He's been one of the more efficient pick and roll players where I think he's like over 1 point something points per possession in a pick and roll. He's been a great addition for them this season. We're seeing this all come to fruition for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Give a lot of love to Atkinson. But again, I feel as if we're just seeing a different level from Mobley and Garland right now, and it's translating to winning basketball.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of internal growth, right?
You scared, bro?
Cleveland?
Yeah.
I tweeted out they present probably the toughest matchup for Boston.
Do you remember those games, the 2 games?
They were tough. No, I mean, even last year without Donovan Mitchell, with the banged up team that they had, Garland not playing 100%, they were a tough matchup. But the front court of Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, that's something Boston doesn't really have an answer for. Like, if Porzingis and Al are both at 100%, you have bodies to throw at them. But, I mean, that's one of the best front courts, probably the best front court in the NBA. At least they're playing like it right now. But this season, more than anything, I think it's just been internal growth. Of course, Darius Garland being 100%. And Evan Mobley, I really think how Kenny Atkinson is utilizing him offensively. They're doing a ton of inverted pick and rolls where you have Mitchell or Garland or one of these, wings being the screener and Mobley's playing off of that. That's unlocked a lot with this offense, right? You see, first of all, everyone on the team is shooting their ass off. They're shooting as a team 41% from three, so they're 18th in threes, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're like number 1 or 2 in terms of percentage. But Isaac Okoro, Karis LeVert is playing great, all shooting at a high clip. We were talking about Dean Wade the other night. Like, all of their role players have been stepping up as well. I think the coaching change has been one of the biggest improvements. JB Bickerstaff, I think it goes hand in hand, right? Evan Mobley just naturally growing as a player, but I also think Kenny Atkinson giving him the ability and the freedom to run sets offensively, to initiate offense, to take the ball up when it's coming out. I think that's giving their offense just a bit of a different look. And then defensively, we know how scary this defense can get when you have Jared Allen, you have Evan Mobley. So this team is great. This team is phenomenal. And I feel like we really even haven't seen Donovan Mitchell play at Donovan Mitchell-like levels. Part of that is because everyone else is playing so great that you don't really need him to do that yet. But goddamn, Mitchell's going to go on a tear at some point where he's going to average 35 for a month. You're like, holy shit, them in Boston really could be 1 and 2 in terms of the East. So yeah, I think matchup-wise, when we get to the playoffs, that's going to be a team Boston's looking at. Like, yeah, we talked about New York a ton. We talked about Milwaukee and Philadelphia being, the biggest threat to them. But the way they match up, their personnel could be the biggest concern for the Celtics.
They're now together for 3 years, this core of Mitchell, Garland, Mobley, and Jared Allen. Sometimes you just need a different voice talking to you. I think JB Bickerstaff, he was losing the locker room. The team didn't really vibe with him. And Kenny Atkinson is a different voice. And we saw what he did with the Nets with the roster that really wasn't that talented at all. And they made the playoffs. And now he's getting the best out of this group. Mobley looks much more aggressive. And now we're just seeing what happens when you have a core together. You guys play really well. When you get hurt, sometimes you lose those games. But a core that made it to the second round of the playoffs, that was competitive against Boston, even with injuries. And you think to yourself, hey, maybe we shouldn't make a trade for a non-needle mover or difference maker in the grand scheme of things.
Are you subbing the Knicks?
And they kept their core together, and now they're playing great. I mean, this is what happens when you keep a core together, and this core works great.
Them.
I mean, this is what happens. I think the Cavaliers are a wing away from being a team that I'm seriously looking at. Like if they can manage to get if they can manage to get Cam Johnson from the Nets,
that'd be cool.
I think that'd be perfect for them.
25 mil. I don't know how the hell.
What about DFS? Go cheaper.
I think DFS, you can't rely on him to shoot.
I think DFS,
and he's not the same defender.
If the move is DFS, you don't make that move. You know, you have Dean Wade.
Probably be cheap though. That's more.
I trust Okoro's development.
Like, I'm cool with Okoro. Now I'm
over DFS. Yes,
cool
I think
with
Okoro's
Okoro,
better
Strus,
DFS.
and Wade.
Okoro's given us basically a season of this. Like
we're here.
What?
You said us.
Giving us like viewers.
Like he can shoot.
It was an honest mistake. He's a Celtics.
I'm not
He said he
gonna.
was a Demas guy though. So
Not fuck with Mitchell for sure, but I
You
mean,
know,
I
the
can't-
Cavs' lowest value, Garland's coming off his worst season.
They were gonna trade
Evan
him,
Mobley, you got him in talks of, is he going to develop anymore? And the Cavs are like, yo, we trust our development. We trust our coaching staff. We trust the players and their character. We're going to let them ride out. And they're playing well.
I think aggressive is the most important word of it all, because I think, like, fuck the numbers. Just watching them. They've been more aggressive. Garland's been more aggressive in getting to the rim. Mobley's been aggressive in the transition. He's been aggressive at attacking mismatches. Just in the post. I mean, there's times in the post where last year, a lot of the stuff he did would have been to travel. You know, he'd have lost the ball. Now he looks more strong, physical. He's going through people's chests. Whoa. So I think, like, the word aggressive has just been so big with these two young players because, you know, we mentioned, like, last year, Garland had the broken jaw. He was scared to go to the rim. He was scared of contact. Now he's just free-willing, flow, playing with his ways. And I think this team, Donovan Mitchell, really, I think just because they're beating teams so quick and so fast early in games where he doesn't really have to sit here and give you 30 to 35 to 40 points. You know, you have Garland going on his explosions. Donovan Mitchell have his little runs. Even Jared Allen getting a little taste of the sugar. He's getting in there. He's scoring his buckets, doing his little hook shots, getting his dunks on. So this four, I do agree, though. I think that wing spot is really going to hurt them, potentially. I mean, D Wade's been solid for them. Isaac's solid in spot minutes. Max, when he comes back, he's pretty solid. Sam Murrell of the bench has been good for them in the three-point shooting department. Karis LeVert, I like as a six-man. You can't really start him, but I like him as a six-man. And I think this team provides a shit ton of just – we were talking about it earlier in the show, how teams are upping their three-point shot attempts. I think this team gets the perfect blend of good shot attempt, like good three-point shots. And if they hit them, they hit them. If they don't, they go back to their bread and butter, which is getting into the paint, getting that pick and roll. Because there's been a lot of Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland working the pick and roll. Get Allen and Mobley involved. Get them in switches. Hitting that guy in the corner, whether it's Niang, Deaton Wade, or hitting Karis LeVert off the elbow. So I think this team, Kenny Atkinson, new voice, it's dope. It's really about, can they keep the consistency and the continuity together? Can they keep their mental right? Because this team last year was dealing with trade rumors, dealing with just constant injuries, you know, and then the year before that, it was just, well, coming in, it was the Knicks beating their ass in the playoffs. That was something that surrounded this team. So now that they're, you know, kind of mental free and they're kind of just playing within themselves, we see a little bit of a different thing, you know, 8-0, first time since whatever it was.
Like 74
It's been like mad long. So, you know, they definitely feel a little bit different. Can they be consistent and keep it going? That's the key. I think with them in Boston, the wing department is always going to lack. Like, I always joke about them beating Boston, and I think it'd be a fun-ass series. But them just having that small backcourt would really hurt them in that series just because you got Drew, you got White, you got Brown, you got Tatum. There's really nobody for you to attack. Like, outside of Donovan Mitchell, who I trust against anybody, for Garland, for Mobley, for Jared Allen, it's really something I'm not, like, I got to see it to believe it. And then just them having the lack of wing defense. Like, you can put Evan Mobley on anybody, but who's that second guy going to be? Is it going to be D Wade? I love him in minutes. Can he be consistent? So, but I think this Cavs team is definitely shocking the world. And if they're like a top 2, top 3, you called it, seed, that'd be dope for them because then they can walk in, home court advantage. They probably feel extremely confident about the 6, 7, 8 matchups and wherever they're playing. So shout out to the Cavs, man.